Hey guys, and welcome back to our Persona 5 set review. We're going to cover Red. With me, I have, I'm Lachipana, and with me, I've got El Prez, my co-host, and we've got, what are we going by again?
I have him right now as Tim Tom the Dank Engine.
Okay, we'll go with that. He's Tim Tom Dankin. So this is a separate day to our yellow and green cast for reasons, valid reasons. But bear in mind that that is the case. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into Red. Uh, so red actually has quite a number of good cards, but I unfortunately they're not that great in context. So let's get straight to it. The first card we got here is Morgana and Zora. It's a 3/2/9/5. If you've got two or fewer climaxes in waiting room, this gets neg 1 level in hand, so it's a fairly easy advanced summon. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may heal one, and when this attacks, if you have two or more other Phantom Thief characters, or just if you have a field, this gains 2k for the turn. So it's a 3/2/9/5 on attack. It's an 11/5, and it's a heal. Easy advanced summon. What do you think?
There's no free freshes in this set, right? Or no free freshes worth playing, right?
Is there a
No,
free?
I don't think so.
It
Okay.
would be in sets
I'm,
probably.
No, it would.
I'm
I think in this deck, because you do have the pseudo Akatsuki kind of thing, the two or fewer
well,
climaxes can be awkward sometimes. Like actually,
I'll just refresh twice. It's easy enough to do
I
it.
mean that's usually gonna be your solution to try to do it. But I'm not saying like you're not gonna do it. It's just like it's a little bit of an awkward condition. Otherwise, the card itself is just boring. I mean, it's an early play healer. It's a little bit bigger, only on attack. It's only 11/5 on attack, which is like kind of
Yeah,
awkward as well.
that actually breaks the deal for me. I don't like cards which are only big on attack when it's your early play. Like you're playing this early play for a few things. The first is to heal, but if that was all you want to do, then I'm not sure that's worth it. The second is to have like a decent field presence that'll hopefully recoup the two stock that you used.
This
And I
this
don't think
probably
this
doesn't
card,
do that.
yeah. Depending on what sort of deck you build, like if you play, say, a very red focused deck and you played it and level support, then yeah, this becomes an 11k heal, 13k on attack. That's not too bad, but you're investing quite a bit for what is ultimately just a vanilla heal. It doesn't really do anything later on, doesn't provide any survivability without the heal. Like it dies to every advanced summon killer, it dies to every big advanced summon itself. And while it is a heal, you've already got a very good heal in this set, a
Yeah.
heal that doubles a finisher. And at level 2, yeah, you do appreciate having two soul, but there are other ways to get that, I think.
I also think to an extent, like a vanilla early play healer almost would have been preferable to this, just for like the more consistent power across the board. I don't know.
I I'm not entirely sure about. I think it's important to be able to kill opposing advanced summons,
But
but we do have ways to do
but
that.
11/5, 12/5 of climax on its own means that you probably need to push a support to reliably kill other players' advanced summons, which is like
Mm,
also a bit awkward. Like
Well, you do have the protagonist.
it's not
yeah.
that you can't. I'm just saying like this on its own definitely does not get the job done against the best early plays. Or you're playing against index where it's like killing the early play just frankly doesn't matter.
I mean, ultimately, this is a question of like this card isn't as good as some other options that
Yeah.
exist in this set. So
I
it's
mean,
just kind of like other sets wouldn't mind this, but this set
doesn't
doesn't
need it.
really care. So
In the end, I think the card gets a just a base playable for me. It's if you want an early play healer, this is I think perfectly serviceable. I don't think you need this though.
My
I think
issue is that the other colors offer more.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
the main.
the color commitment is like an issue. I think with this
but
card.
but that is my opinion on the card. I'm sticking to a straight flat playable. I don't know if anyone has
It's
wants to
it's a
give
bit of
it
a spoiler,
worse.
but I don't think red is as good as the other colors in this set, simply because it doesn't offer anything special outside of some level zeros, and that's going to influence my ratings on all of these cards. So I do just give this a flat playable.
Hmm.
Just like a quick thing. So for P5, they saw that Teddy was a popular character, so they felt the need to add a
Oh my
cat
God, how
mascot.
how is Teddy a popular character? He's got a squeaky, annoying voice. He's completely useless as like a navigator. He's a good character, but you're never going to put him in your party in Persona 4, because if you do, you're going to hear his stupid squeaking footsteps every
To
time
be
you
fair,
move anywhere.
like my party in Persona 4 usually consisted of like, I mean,
First,
Protag, like no P4, It's like Protag
And
plus
that game was so
Yukiko as the
easy.
healer
It doesn't.
plus
It didn't matter who
Naoto for
was in that
Shiggles
team.
and then
That's
Kanji
the
because
thing.
chair.
That's the thing. Like Persona 4 is such an easy game that rather than like Teddy is one of the best party members, but you don't want him in your party because his stupid movement sound. You can beat the game with any combination of characters, but
He's the
why?
best ice element, right? Better than
Uh,
Chi, at least, I think.
He's just the best support healer, but Yukiko was better because she also, did damage. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, I digress. Teddy, I don't think Teddy was actually popular. They wanted Teddy to be popular. She wasn't.
I mean,
Uh, he,
clearly
I,
they thought it was popular enough for them to push a second mascot character.
so if anyone ever played Persona 4 Arena, I'm pretty sure Teddy was universally hated in that game.
But Teddy wasn't even top tier, was he?
He was like high tier, and he was just
I
annoying.
thought
He was one
Kanji
of the
was like
annoying
super
characters.
top tier because high health.
There was one iteration where Kanji was okay, but I don't think he's. Look, we've gone off the beaten track. Yeah, Morgana's gotten a lot of cards, but I I don't think that makes any of them particularly playable. There's a few good ones, but I don't even know how he got onto this topic. Uh, but
It was
just
just
like
a random thought that I had.
Yosuke is the best party member because reasons.
Bros before hoes, bro.
He just does everything. He's just so good.
Also win magic.
Yeah, he's just got everything. All out attack, and this is the 3-2 and it's actually not a bad card. 3-2 10k. When this is placed from hand to stage, you can draw one, and this gains 2k power for the turn. And then it's got a climax combo with I refuse to read that climax name.
OMG, we are so
you're-
awesome.
Obligated to read that, I'm afraid.
That's
Now you need
that's
to say it in your accent, and then they can have it
most
recorded.
most certainly not in my contract. Uh, so when the battle opponent of this is reversed, if Anne's gate is in the climax zone, choose up to one Phantom
No,
Thief
no, no.
character.
Say the name.
If OMG, we are so awesome, is in your climax zone, choose up to one Phantom Thief character and put it into your stock, not your hand, your stock, and deal 1 damage to your opponent.
I mean, it's actually like very solid. The 12k pump is nice. It climaxes with gate, which means you're looking at 13k on offense, which with supports you're probably looking closer to 14.5.
Well,
And-
more like 16k.
I mean, I'm being conservative, but still,
Well, I mean, if you're playing this, you're probably playing it with the Protag assist, right?
that's fair. So like we'll say 6 in K. That's fair. And then you get an extra stock and you deal an extra damage. For me, this combo is most reminiscent of, I guess, Komachi from Terraformers in terms of how it kind of functions. You need to reverse, you get the stock, you get the power, and you still deal damage.
He's not wrong. It does kind of like I was wondering what analogy you would use, whether it would be from Terraformers or not, and you actually found one. Not in the right color, but you did find.
But it's a similar impact, and I think similarly, and it's the problem that Komachi has, it's just not the best finisher. It's just a serviceable one.
I
think
think
this might
this is
actually
actually
be-
the best finisher, to be
I
honest.
think it's the best finisher in the set. I also don't think this is a set that wants to burst finish your opponent. That's the thing.
Well, I don't know, because like if your point is to burst finish, this isn't like the best burst finisher, right? It doesn't like push outrageous amounts of damage.
I think it's fine. I think it does more than say the clock kick, or
I don't
any
know.
of the other.
The Protag
There's
still
no-
feels like it gets the job done. That's the thing.
I don't think it does. Like,
No,
it's-
he costs way too much stock.
yeah,
and,
it's
like,
such an underwhelming
he's-
card.
His best mode is the heal. Like, you play him as
Yeah.
a healer.
I mean, that's
And
fine though.
That okay heal that threatens to finish the game if your opponent's at 3-5 or whatever.
Whatever.
And whenever I do use it, I use it begrudgingly. Like,
Yeah.
people, like I said when we rated it, people overrate that card greatly. They need to play it more and see what it does. I very rarely want to use that effect. And on the other hand, I'm quite happy using. If my opponent doesn't have cards I can reverse, this card is obviously a lot worse. On reverse finishes are pretty much always worse than on attack finishes. And when you compare a card like Anne to something like the most recent Gochiusa finisher, or something like Aal or Yami, then it kind of looks like a joke.
I mean,
and
I
because
think
of-
everything compared to like Arl and Yami looks like a joke though. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, that's the standard you have to compare yourself to. And if you can't get to that standard, I'm not sure Persona 5 has any business trying to be the burst finish deck.
I mean,
And while
I have huge issues with the fact that it is a climax combo reliant on reverse. Like that's two issues I have with on reverse, by the way. Like you have to reverse and your money counterable still.
Mm,
Like that's
I do
two
think
issues I have with this card.
True.
this card has a lot of inherent problems. I think it's a fine card. I don't think there's any real problem with it. It's free. It gets a fair amount of power. It cantrips. And if you do reverse something, it does quite a bit. Like getting one stock back and dealing one damage is not insignificant.
Okay,
I just
I
think
actually
there are
like this stock a lot because you have the Jack Frost counter or the Tower Reading counter.
Yeah, I mean that sort of deck can definitely use the stock, but I think there's a better anti-damage in this set to the point where I just don't run Jack Frost.
I
You
mean,
could run this.
we're getting to that, but
New Execution.
if you're running this, right, you're probably not able to accommodate the climax spaces for that option.
It's really debatable. You can just run no level one combo in this deck.
But then
Look,
it's 4 gate 4 book or 4 gate 4 pants, right?
yeah, 4 gate 4 pants. That would be the deck.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit awkward, but you could do it, I
But
guess.
I've got this in a green red deck because I just had spare hands, and it's been doing okay. I I'm still not giving it anything more than a playable plus.
I agree
Like
with playable
this
plus.
is it's a legitimate draw to the red color. It is a decent enough finisher at like it is big. Like if you saw this kind of profile, you would honestly expect it to be 9/5 power. You'd expect some sort of power cut, but it's fine. Like it's a 12k it's a 12k attacker, and then it draws you a card. And if you've got the climax, it's 13k plus whatever supports, and that's fine. That is definitely big enough. I don't think it's a particularly broken card. I just think it's fine.
I mean, being fine is, again, as it implies, is fine. It's just I don't think you want an average finisher.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think this is just a playable plus card.
I would have to agree.
Alright. Next card. Skilled Actress of the Phantom Thieves, and
She doesn't have the
Awesome.
actress trait.
she does not know. She's a 0. Is that a trait?
No, that's why I'm disappointed. I like Axe can't be, or Ash can't be an actress.
Give me a moment. You guys continue. I gotta take this call.
All right, so skilled actress of the Phantom Thieves. There's a question mark in there as well, which is hilarious. It's a 0/0 1500 power character. It has the following abilities. When this is placed from hand to stage, mill 2. If there are at least one climax cards amongst them, you choose one of your characters, and that character gets plus 1500 power for the turn. It is also a level 0 bomb. So, it's pretty solid red fixing. Like, I'm going to be real.
It's a good candidate for the red fix, yeah. But
I mean, it's just a bomb. The first effect I'm never relying on, ever. But free mills are nice, even if it mills a climax.
I think the problem is, I don't know, like, you have to, like, I think the best part about this is that it's red, because every other part of the card, you don't, like...
Well, I mean, there's one reason why you're really not running this, and we're going to get to that soon, but if you wanted a bomb as your level 1 option, or level 0, like, filler option and color fixing, like, this is really solid.
Yeah, it's just that, like, my problem with the card is more that it's inherently tied to red's worth as a color in the context of your deck building.
Sure.
Because you're not running this card because of the text on the card itself. You're running it because it's red.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if that was the pure thing, then, like, we're going to get to the next card, and you're going to wonder why you're playing this.
Yeah, but, I mean... Yeah, I mean, this is a fine card. It's just that, like, it's
a base playable
basically
card.
outclassed.
It's a base
it's
playable card. You just don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, also to an extent, like, I think I would still run, like, the old Yukiko, the one that, like, if you have enough stock, you can bomb, or it kills something and you can return something tapped to the back row. Like, that seems more serviceable than this in general, except for the fact that it's not Phantom Thief, which is a huge issue for Persona as a freaking set. Traits are a killer.
Yeah.
But yeah, this card is base playable. It's a good candidate for red fixing, but I don't think it's the best one.
Yeah.
So now for the best candidate for red fixing. 0/0 2K, Guide of the Phantom Thieves, Morgana, Mona. It's a costless, conditionless runner.
Uh, yeah, it's good. Free pluses.
I mean, if your opponent commits 3 cards to like stopping this, then you got it, dude. Like if you have a level 1 reversing combo, you're gonna farm. And if they don't, you're
Yeah.
getting a free plus anyways because they didn't kill your dude. They didn't kill your cat mascot thing that turns into a bus.
Cancel every attack.
I mean, if you cancel every attack, then tears, many tears. But you
It's a
don't.
good card.
Yeah, like to be honest, even if I didn't need the red fixing, I'd heavily consider still playing some copies of these.
There are other reasons. I think this is that was my initial instinct when I was looking at the cards too, but I think in the end, it's like a color thing, mostly that you don't run this because if you don't value red at all, there are some other cards that can appropriate this card's effect quite handily. But like
I don't see
I
a
mean,
problem with like
I would
maybe
never
2.
say it's bad to have this card in your list.
I wouldn't say like
So-
it would be bad to have 2. Like this card is powerful enough. I think it's gonna get a playable plus again because to an extent this card is in the red, which means it doesn't fix for anything super relevant. That it does hurt the rating a little bit, unfortunately. But playable plus I think is super fair, and it's a card that I would definitely consider running 2 to 3 of, even if I didn't need the red splash.
Really? I don't think you have enough space.
That's the biggest problem, and that's the biggest problem for any level 0 lineup these days. But like a costless runner is still good. I don't know.
Mm,
Ooh, that
What I
echo is
missed.
kicking in.
I'm sorry. What I miss?
We're now discussing. Ooh. Echo's still bad. Hello?
come on.
I mean, it's me, isn't it?
I think,
Yeah, it
I
is.
think so.
All right, I'll move the laptop.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're talking about the costless runner, and I was saying that you might consider running 2 or 3 of it, even if you didn't need the red splash.
It's a good card, but I run 0, and there's a reason for that. We'll get to it.
Yeah, it's just that like level 0 slots are a resource that like it's just a matter of numbers. I think.
That's fair.
Like it's hard,
The
but
purpose of the runner, yeah.
My final verdict on the card is going to be playable plus, regardless.
The runner.
yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
say playable plus. Like I have to. I want to say it's good. But it's
Yeah.
the purpose of a runner is to sit there in plus, and there's another card that does that. You know, similarly well, and in a better color. So
All right,
it's unfortunate.
All right.
moving onward.
All right, we've got Anne in common. All right, so this is a level 1 bomb rather. It's a 103K. It's got level 1 bomb effect. So when this is reversed, if your battle opponent is level 1 or lower, it also dies. And it's got during your turn, when the battle opponent of this is reversed, you may swap this card with one of your standing characters. If you do, you may salvage a character from your waiting room and add it to your hand, then discard a card. Okay, so this effect is, I think we talked about it briefly before, but there's not a huge amount of benefit to this effect aside from not needing to face one particularly big row. So in order for this effect to be good, you need the bonus, which in this case is a salvage and discard, to be very good. This card is pretty much strictly a bomb with upside. Like there is no downside to having this effect tacked onto the bomb. At the very worst, it is a 1-0 bomb if you needed to attack last. And at best, it is a filter as well as a level 1 bomb. And that's fine.
I think the card is fine. I feel like this is almost kind of like a draw to like level 1 red. Anyways, like costless filters are always nice. I mean, you still run into the same awkward issues that you kind of have with the other ones where like you can reverse something, but sometimes the thing you're swapping with is not big enough to fight it anyways. So you
I
don't.
think I mean
lose the
the
soul.
problem is this bomb, right? You bomb big things, so you run into this like the function doesn't the effects don't necessarily synergize that well with each other because, what's the real benefit of swapping into a lane that you weren't going to beat anyways?
Yeah, and that's one of the concerns I do have. with this card as well. But I mean, bomb with upside is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a straight up bomb with upside, and that already gives it a playable for me. I don't value the salvage and discard as much as some people might. I would definitely value it higher if the next card was guaranteed, but it is unfortunately not guaranteed. So you can't just. It's just.
Well, this also triggers anti-salvage.
Yes,
So
it does.
Yeah, we haven't even touched on that. Yeah.
But I mean,
So
triggering anti-salvage is always something that you kind of keep in mind these days.
it's a bomb with upside. It's a playable card.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
the next card was straight up reveal the top card, add it to hand, then I'd be a lot happier playing this card. But since it's not, this card also goes down a little.
All right. Well, moving on to that next card.
Is it the next card? It is the next card.
yeah, it is.
So, all out attack, Morgana. It's a 1/0/4/5. When you play a climax, this gains 1/5 for the turn. And when this attacks, if you have the other gate, mission accomplished, in the climax zone, and you have another Phantom Thief character, so not a real requirement,
Nope.
reveal the top card of your deck and add it to your hand. If it's not a Phantom Thief character, you then have to discard a card.
So I think this card is like almost strictly better than the Two Lover Animal one.
Is it?
Uh,
I don't think
I'm not
so.
convinced it is.
Because the problem
Well, the
Yeah,
problem
this-
with the problem
focus deck, and like suddenly your plussing triggers are no longer plussing triggers. Like
That's the thing. When you reveal a trigger, like when you reveal a gate, because you're playing gates with this card, you then have to add the gate to your hand instead of getting the gate effect. So I don't think this is strictly better at all.
when this attacks, reveal the top card if it's not a Phantom Thief. Oh, put it in your hand, then
yeah,
discard
crap add-
anyways.
yeah.
Okay,
so I-
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's awkward.
Like-
That's awkward.
Suddenly your guaranteed plus is no longer guaranteed, especially if you run events. And this deck is event focused, so
The
Well,
red focus one is not necessarily event focused,
Yeah.
but I think the best Persona deck will definitely be running the 1/0 events.
well, I feel like you're running events anyways, right? You're either running the advanced notice package or you're running some form of the either tap counter, right? So
I think-
Not necessarily.
But
Not
I
necessarily.
think if you're in red, there is low reason not to be running the tap counter when your go-to finisher is building you stock to do those tap counters.
I mean, I guess, but I don't think red-blue is a particularly strong combination.
That's
if I wanted to,
fair.
well, we're
if I
talking
wanted
about
to play
the
something,
context
I'd
where
go
you run
yellow.
this card, right? So
I mean, the context where I'd run this card are probably yellow-red or red-green. I don't think I'd run this with blue. Like, if I wanted to run tap counters, I'd pair blue with something else.
Regardless,
could be an easy
Okay.
splash though.
yeah, I don't know. It
This
makes it
card
awkward.
card isn't terrible. Like, a lot of the time, you'll just reveal a Phantom Thief and it's a straight plus. Not a selective plus, but it is a straight plus.
I mean, it's notable. Like every card that has a similar profile, clearly not this exact one, right? A lot of those decks are either the archetype is unplayable because it's tied to like a stock soul or something. And it's just like that's unusable in context. Or you're in a deck like GST or Two Lover where your climaxes are all plussing climaxes. Much more awkward in Two Lover than it is in GST, but still, Two Lover has book gold bar, which is like incredibly awkward sometimes. But you have a Akatsuki effect. You have your discard for free, look at top four. So it's not like it's hard to pitch those climaxes and turn those raw pluses into something real. And GST's plussing counters or plussing effects are gates and books. And also notably, like their version of the effect is absolutely heinous. So
I do want to point out that you can use the bomb we just talked about to change one of the cards you got into any card in your waiting room, but you have to go attack with your climax combo, then attack with your bomb and switch with the last remaining card. Otherwise, that just becomes awkward. And that's another kind of frustrating problem. Now, there is one good thing about this card that I like, and it's the fact that it's a 7k attacker. And
the
that's-
self pump
that's
is
like-
great.
it's pretty good. Like, I like how you can attack into things and force a counter pretty easily, or just straight up kill them. The combo itself, I'm just shrugging at. Like, I think Persona, the most competitive Persona decks will be running at least 3 of the 1-0 yellow event and possibly more events. And events are a strict minus. Getting a climax is also terrible because I don't think this card is one that's going to live till the next turn. It's a 4/5 on defense. It's not going to live. So reusing it is not going to be a possibility, like it is with the Talavru one.
Which has hand on court.
Well, you have a spammable
Okay.
brainstorm
I mean,
if you want it.
yeah, you can brainstorm to get it back or to get more, I suppose, but that's applicable of every single deck.
I don't agree with that.
Sure, that's the case. That's the case with every deck that is not
So
specifically
privileged.
Evangelion.
What
But-
GSC does not have a way to
Yo,
get characters
yo.
back.
Why'd you, I'm
With
not
the
the one who.
brainstorm.
Oh my god, dude. Why'd you have to do that?
Okay,
Savaging.
I'm sorry. But yeah, this combo itself is mediocre.
Just jealous of the free Mill 2 brainstorm, obviously.
Very
Wait, it
jealous of
mills
that.
too?
So-
I don't think Persona has one.
And Mills too, doesn't she?
Well, she's not a 4K beater.
Oh, yeah, that is true. She's only a 3K beater. How unfortunate.
This
Yeah,
card-
no, I think this card is being 7K is nice.
I
Being
think
being a plussing combo a decently large amount of the time, like 60-70% of the time.
Well, your deck
is
is
us-
what? Going to be at most 7 climaxes and like 5 events?
Yeah.
So at that
Yeah.
point in the game, they're like 30 cards, 7. So you're looking
Okay,
at
good
missing like
point. It's
that.
gonna be more like an 80%, 85% plus.
That's like the worst case scenario, right? You're like all 7 climaxes are still in, plus all 5 events, which means you
Yeah,
didn't play
right.
any events yet, and you're in a 30 card deck.
I
And
just
you're-
feel like the floor is just really bad. Like, at any point, like, if you're not tri-fielding this, and I guess you probably would be if you're playing this card, but, like, say you're not tri-fielding this and you're counting on this card to give you a plus, because you just played a climax, right? The floor is that you reveal an event or a climax. And this card will die. So, I don't
Look,
know
I
how...
mean, this is good because you don't have to reverse. So you can just try field this and be like a worse version of Fate. That's what you.
Yeah, I guess. It's just... Like, I vastly prefer the 2-1 protagonist because...
Well, I mean, I vastly prefer 2-1 Protag as well, but that's not
Really?
saying that this card isn't bad. This card is fine. It's just unfortunate. I think the hand fixing is... The fact that it doesn't always plus is unfortunate, but I do appreciate not so much the climax part, but it is one way to get certain events back into your hand. In particular, and this is more relevant for decks that aren't running the notice sign thing, right? Events like Execution and... Although Execution is a tutor now, right?
Yeah,
It has
Execution
been-
is a bond.
yeah.
That's the thing.
It
All
has
the
a-
relevant events have bonds.
It has a relevant bond now, but like the Jack Frost tarot reading counters, like which were things that you would normally have to sit on. This is one way of at least trying to get those to your hand, get a few more chances at it,
Oh, it's
and that's relevant sometimes.
you can't count
But
on
again,
this card. to
again,
give you
we've
those
gotten,
cards, though.
we've got. I'm not saying you count on it. I'm just saying it's increasing the number of chances you get at getting those cards, right? Which is different.
This card is still a playable plus in
Yeah,
my
I
reckoning.
mean it's still a playable plus. Like that's where I'm putting it. Again, though, we do get back to that awkwardness of being red-blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just playable.
You think? I think it is just
Yeah.
a fine card. It is an actual draw to red.
I like the effect enough. I generally like the reveal top effects, even though they're not usually the most powerful, because they're usually the least restricted.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're using these effects, you're generally trying to build your deck in a certain way to abuse it. So,
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it.
next.
Mm.
All right. Next card is where am I? And Takamaki. This is a 2/1/3/5. It is a level assist. This is the third pseudo level assist we've seen, and it's actually not a bad one. It's just a
It's not a
2/1/3/5.
pseudo level assist. It's level assist with the plus.
Or I'm kind of I'm classifying the protag as a level assist, even though it's not a strict level assist.
Okay, sure.
So that's like the classification, not referring to this as a pseudo level. Anyway, it's a 2135 level X. It's got come and play, ditch a card. If you do, you may salvage a Phantom Thief,
That's nice.
which is good. Like that's just a good effect tacked onto a serviceable card, which will give you a good return.
I mean, it joins the party of level assist and in this case, and it salvages. I mean,
Yeah, but
like
is
the first comparison.
And Sal.
I mean, the first comparison I make in my mind is like the 2-1 Marika from Nisekoi forever ago, but that one was better. That one.
can I remove him from the call? I'm not gonna sit here and let that pun go unpunished.
Sorry, I didn't even hear it. So, oh Jesus,
Yeah,
I
it
just
must be
noticed. We're
Yeah.
done. We're done. We're over.
Uh,
We've
yeah,
we've
this
we've
card
killed
is.
the channel.
I think this card is fine.
Don't know how to do it.
We killed the
It
channel.
is a level X. I don't think you play this in any deck at all. I just don't think there's a deck which wants this instead of the green level X or the yellow protag support.
Yeah.
Or Fox for that matter.
No, I think that's all reasonable. That said, like, it is a perfectly reasonable option. It still gets the base flat playable.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. It still gets
Yeah.
playable because it is a solid card.
Like, it's not strictly outclassed. There are times where this card might be something that you would have preferred to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a time when the cards like this were very good. Like the Marika level assist was pretty good. You had the Ava level assist was pretty decent.
I mean, there was a lot of reasons why the
Neo.
Marika level assist was super relevant, though. Because, like, one of the strategies of playing against Nisekoi at the time was locking him at 2-5.
Mio is fantastic, but no one plays it except me, so it doesn't matter.
Well, let's move
yeah,
on.
it's a playable card.
Doesn't have Phantom Thief trait.
The next one does not, no, but it might be relevant, and I think this card has some merit to being considered.
Why does
It's,
Neo have to use 2 characters?
Because it's repeatable.
Oh.
Yeah. It's repeatable,
Oh.
repeatable discard out.
That's-
why.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's better in Stardust than any of the other ones. Better than
Pretty
the
sick,
Snail.
actually. Holy shit.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, so this card, Shinya Oda, is a 0/500 power. It is a card without Phantom Thief. It's only Netoge, which is, MMO. It's got the ability Alarm, so you have to have this on top of your clock. If this is on your clock and you're level 2 or higher, all of your protagonist characters gain the ability to bomb same level characters.
That's good.
Off trait.
Same or lower. This card is fine. If you really, really, really hate Monogatari, then you can use this with your 2-1 protags to farm their Hanakawas and get a butt ton of advantage.
Oh, that's pretty nasty, actually. I
Yeah.
mean, well, the thing
It's
is,
not actually that good.
the only way you can get this card is with the 2-1 pro tag himself. So,
Yeah. So maybe you did it and then your protag didn't die because, I don't know, maybe it just didn't die. And then you used... Look, I don't think there's a lot you need to make this card work, and I don't think it works with Joker. That's a real big problem. Like, it doesn't work with level 3 Joker because that implies you are clocking this card and then not using Joker's heal. We already talked about that problem with one of the green cards, and this is the exact same problem. Yes, if you desperately want to multi-Joker somebody and have a crap ton of stock for that reason, you can clock this, not heal, play your multiple Jokers, kill whatever the hell they have, unless they're like higher level for whatever reason. And then after you do, you can use Joker, because Joker will activate even if he is reversed. I don't think going all in is worth it. I don't think Joker's a strong enough finisher to warrant that.
I feel like if
don't
you're going to
think-
do that, might as well just play Excel World. Because Excel World
Yeah.
can set up for its like equivalent finisher much better than Persona can, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. We can do that in the deck building phase. Persona can set up, it can play more level 2s and more level 1s, but I think level 0 space in Persona is super valuable and super needed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Joker is still, in my eyes, an auxiliary finisher. Your real finisher is a 3/2 blue card. So I have to give this card a niche. I don't think ever see play in a particularly serious deck because Joker is so expensive.
I mean, if you just pull it back to like the pro tag deck, and that's a niche deck, so niche is right.
It just does. I mean, if there's future Persona sets, it opens up like some cool things you could do with future Pro Tag cards.
I mean, there's a lot of things going on with the pro tag name in this set in particular.
Yeah,
Actually.
I mean, the old Protag cards, they don't want to be bombs because A, Persona has like a trillion bombs already, and you can just run one of them. There's even a yellow level 1 bomb.
Dude, you
Uh,
could just run this with Curry, or you
Oh,
don't need
God.
Dojima. Like, cause cut
I'm
the middleman out, right?
gonna ignore. I mean, Dojima is what lets you kill things higher than your level. So you still do need Dojima.
Well, you have Pro Tags at every level, so it's like,
I mean, you do, but there's no fun unless you're reversing a level 2 with your clean cut Yukiko and saving something else. I digress. As someone who owns multiple protagonist decks, and yes, there are multiple protagonist decks, don't ask how they came to existence. This card goes into none of them. I want to keep field in every single protagonist deck that exists, and this card is obviously not conducive to doing that.
Yep.
Yep. Don't disagree
Alright.
with that.
Next card, Calm Anger and 0015. This one is a Phantom Thief. Global 500, and when damage dealt by a direct attack from your character is not cancelled, so when your opponent
Back
eats
to
a
that
direct
gimmick.
Yep. Pay 1, choose a face down card in your opponent's memory and put it in the waiting room. If you do, you have to have a card in their memory to pay cost.
Yes.
And then when you do pay cost, you may salvage a character. So this is a straight up Global's assist that can plus you in conjunction with your 1/0 mill
Okay.
engine. Yes.
Yep.
So your yellow mill event bounces a cost 0 character, which might give you an additional chance to direct attack, in addition to adding soul. If any of these direct attacks land,
Free
God
plus
forbid,
or cheap plus.
Nice. Yeah.
pay 1
Cheap
plus,
plus.
which
Mhm.
is super strong because you can do dirty things like salvage another one of the ditch bonds to the event to do it all again.
I feel like
But
so far this has been the best one we've seen, right?
yeah, this is the
Yes.
best one, and it's not close.
I mean, it's straight plus. So
Yeah. It's a straight
It's a
pay one
straight
plus.
It is level 0. It's a plus from bin, which you don't actually have in this set unless you want to go off trait. Like, I'm not splashing Yukiko just for Yukiko. This is also a global 500, which is
that
relevant.
sounds
to
something you
level
do,
plus.
though.
there is like some awkwardness, I guess. If it matters that you need to direct attack first or second for whatever reason, it is still hit by anti-salvage
Yeah, yeah, it is.
for whatever
Unfortunately.
reason. Unfortunately, like usually attack order doesn't matter, but if for whatever reason you need to make the direct attack happen earlier, then you can get
Now,
bit.
what happened is you attacked, triggered a wind, bounced their anti-salvage, and then paid out the wind when they eat it.
I mean, that's just living the dream.
It's just what happens. This
Just
deck
like
is
to know, you can't. You have to use this if you want to use this on the first direct attack that hits. So
Yes. So as soon as
Wait.
direct attack hits, it is mandatory to put the card back into the waiting room.
Yes, you have to use it.
Paying cost is not mandatory, so you may choose not to pay cost.
Which is actually kind of awkward if you want to save the stock as well. But your event is free, so whatever.
That's fine. I can try
Uh,
this event again eventually.
Yeah, your event is
Look.
free. It doesn't cost you stock, so.
I think this card is a solidly playable plus card, but I want to distinguish this from the other playable plus cards by saying it does actually go into what I consider the meta build.
label plus meta.
No,
not
not
meta.
Yeah, I'm
This is,
kidding.
this is not the reason we're.
Yeah. So this is the best red card we've seen so far, simply because it is playable.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the meta deck, not the playable rating. Deal made Morgana. It's a 1/0 2K. It's literally just a 2K counter. When you use the backup of this, if you have a Phantom Thief character, so
Wait, did you skip a card?
did I?
Yeah, you did. Deal
I
made
did, yeah.
Anne.
Deal made and 0/0 2K. Come in play. When this comes to play, you may discard a climax. If you do, salvage a Phantom Thief.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfectly serviceable. I don't know why I would play this and not Yuji though.
It doesn't matter. It's just like a playable red card. If you
All
wanted the
these
red,
playable
you'll be
cards.
playing it. But yeah, it's fine. The card is fine.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Unfortunate. Next up is something boring.
Yeah, this is the actual deal made Morgana. 102K, it's a 2K counter.
Yeah.
So when you use this card's backup, for backup 1000, you may choose a battling. Well, if you have a Phantom Thief character, you may choose a
Oh
battling
man.
character. 1000. So it is an effective 2K counter. It's playable. I don't think it's any better than playable. At one point, I wanted to have 3 in my list, but I've cut down to 2 because I just find myself not caring enough to play 3. It is a perfectly serviceable card. You do have a global support that is good. You do have a Ellie clone in Ryuji, and you do have an early summon, which is effectively a 117k that you might want to protect. This is fine. I don't think it is anything special.
Yep. Next.
You definitely play it, though. All right. You don't play it in a red deck, ironically, because the red deck has no field. You've got 4 or 5 Morganas, and then you've got level 1 bombs. It's like, why even bother? All right.
It has the funny 3D model art.
Game art.
Yep.
Game screenshot.
Screenshots. If you've got 2 or more other Phantom Thieves, this is a 106k, which is not very difficult. That's a good start. And when For My Dear Friend is placed to the Climax Zone,
Stocksol.
that card, yes, Toxel, you may pay 1. If you do, choose a cost 0 or lower Phantom Thief in your waiting room, put in any slot on the stage, and this gains the ability, when the battle opponent of this is reversed, you may top deck it.
I mean, it seems fine.
I don't think there's any problem with this card, really. It does sculpt your field really well, but
Cost 0 is like kind of convenient. I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not amazing. Like, you can't summon one of these and have it gain the effect because the trigger's passed. I can't think of a card off the top of my head that is amazing enough that you'd want to summon it like
not
that.
necessarily amazing, but like you'll still like grab the bomb.
You can get Morgana Car.
I mean, we're gonna get to the meme rating if I need to make it in the future. Like, I feel like the meme rating is on the horizon.
Magic School Bus.
Yeah, you can put Morgana Car in the back
Get
row
on
and
the
it
Magic
works.
School Bus.
This card is, I'm gonna say playable. Just
No, I'm putting this as a niche card
Mm-mm.
niche.
because I don't see any reason to play this outside of an Anne waifu deck.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say playable minus
Minus.
personally. I think it's fine-ish. Like, I wouldn't play it, but like I could see a
No
world
problem.
where you might prefer this for whatever reason. It's a little bit bigger than the alternatives, which is kind of relevant. It makes the 2K counter better. And it can push more damage at level 1, which is not necessarily what you always want to be doing. So, playable minus is where I'm putting it.
Fair enough.
I think I'll put it a playable minus 2.
Okay. Morgana Car, we've reached it. We have reached the mean. It's a 105k. Oh god. I'll cover these in order. So, firstly, you've got at the start of your opponent's attack phase, if there's a marker under this, you may move it to an empty slot. Then it's got
That's not in order.
2 costs. I know it's not in order, but this is more logical, I think. How do you get markers under this, you ask? Well, at the start of your opponent's main phase, so long before that, pay 2, discard 2 cards from hand, and you get to put all of your other characters face down under this as markers.
Bust the bus.
So this is just a giant meme. You get everyone jumps on the Magic School Bus, and then it gets to run anywhere.
You go on a field trip.
And then at the beginning of your attack phase, put all markers under this into separate slots on your side of the stage.
Back to the Magic School Bus.
We wonder if Bushiroad ever pays attention to its player base. Well, we have our answer.
Memes.
This is great flavor, and I enjoy the fact that it exists.
So how does
I
the
do
cat
not-
turn into the bus?
Magic.
Uh,
But it doesn't have the
Yeah.
magic trait.
All right, so this card needs to be played with the Haru. That gives all Morgana cards 2,000 power on your turn. Because if you have 2 of that Haru, this is suddenly 9k on offense, and I mean,
That's a relevant size.
it's
Pretty
relevant, but
and she brings out this card for 1 stock.
correct. The problem with Morgana Car has never been its size or its stats or anything like that.
That's wind triggers.
It is the fact that if Morgana Car is removed, all markers underneath it go into the bin. It is a it is. So this is the most successful vehicle mechanic we've seen in the TCG in the past year, by far.
You think it's more successful than Wizards?
Oh yeah, like if I destroy a vehicle, I expect anyone driving the vehicle to also be destroyed.
Airbags, bro. Airbags.
Don't
That's not how it
drive
works.
responsibly, please. Don't drive into any storms.
Yeah. So Morgana, if you get it removed, like if a wind trigger happens, or your God forbid, this is in the front row and your opponent plays a yellow advance notice, that's
Just game over, man.
yeah, like if you've paid the cost, then it's game over. So you don't have to pay cost. You may instead choose to have a bunch of pathetic 105Ks on your field. And it's notable that the Haru, which summons this, summons it from deck. So you can't just keep recurring it like some sort of really twisted Madoka. I think this is a funny card. I think this is great flavor, fantastic flavor. I do not think this is anything approaching good. I think this is a giant meme, and I have to give it the niche rating because of it.
Where's that
Even when
meat
it's
rating?
Next
even
time.
when it's even when it succeeds, it's not even that good. It's like you still have to pay two ditch two. So you didn't plus. You just saved everybody, and the field trip goes on.
You netted one stock.
hmm
You even have the
It
clock
is,
to
it
get your
is
plus.
notable. It is notable that you don't need to. It doesn't need to be Phantom Thieves put under this. So if you're playing this with Persona 4, this becomes the Mystery Machine.
Okay. But yeah. Next time. We'll have a meme rating for next time.
Jeez.
Wow,
Alright,
that was the card that got the technology. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that one was the one that deserved the meme. Anyway, Hifumi Toga. It's a 00500. It hasn't got any relevant traits. It only has Shogi.
So
Wait,
Ash
is
can
it
now
right?
play chess.
Yes, he can play Japanese chess, not
So
actual.
so is it actually a new trait?
I think so.
I believe so. Assist 500, and when this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay one and ditch one. If you do, salvage a Phantom Thief character, then choose a different Phantom Thief character, and that character gains 1k for the turn.
Oh,
I mean,
So
it's
this is
drops.
actually it's a bunch of really nice effects. Like it's a pay one, ditch one salvage, which is already fine, and it's an assist.
And it
So
pumps.
it's already doing quite a bit. And then if you pay the drop salvage effect, you get an extra 1k somewhere. So this actually does a lot for just an innocuous assist common. The issue is it doesn't have the Phantom Thief trait. Not to mention there are plenty of ways to buff your characters already. You've got a Shimakaze Kai clone in the TD. You've got the Clock Swap on Makoto. You've got the Global Assists. You've just got heaps of ways to pump your characters incidentally that don't involve playing an off-trait character in a color that I believe is not particularly great. So this card is a niche for me, even though it does have all these cool effects that I like a lot.
I think I agree. Niche is a fair rating.
Yep. All right, straightforward love, Morgana, 002k. During your turn, all of your other Ann and Carmen Panther gain 2,000 power. Now, Ann and Carmen Panther, is that the 1/0 bomb? I'm pretty sure it is, right?
I'm checking. I'm checking. I'm
Yes.
checking. Yes, it is.
Sure. Which is interesting, but I don't know about great. And when your other character in the front row center slot attacks, you may mill the top card of your deck. If it's a climax, choose a card in your opponent's waiting room and put it on top of the lot. See, that text wasn't choose one of your characters and give it +4 soul, so I'm a little disappointed. This card is, again, for the Anne pseudo waifu deck, I suppose. Making a bomb big enough to kill something naturally on your turn is a powerful effect because it means you're getting a 2-for-1 effectively. Your opponent will have to commit probably a level 1 to kill your bomb, and then they're losing tempo and a card that they might not have lost otherwise.
But Anna's only 3k.
Is only 3k. So
Level zeros can still get over if you slam a climax. Depending on the level 0. So it's not exactly the case because you probably, if you're killing level 1s without using the bomb effect with this, it means you had double back row this, which means they're only going to be 3k on your opponent's turn.
That's fair enough, but I do think that this gets over level 1s fairly well, and this still makes it a 2-for-1, and you get a tempo swing,
Yeah,
which isn't
I'm
horrible.
not saying you're not getting all of those things. I'm just saying level zeros can get over pretty easily.
Yeah.
Niche.
I
I
think
don't
this
think.
card is. I actually think it's niche minus. I don't think there's a lot of reason to run this card. I think that Anne and Carmen Panther going heavy on that card is not a recipe for success. Level 1 bombs are very rarely a recipe for success. That's why even a bomb as strong as the one in Love Live Sunshine is not going to be particularly good, simply because level 1 bombs are a natural tempo loss. So yeah, I put it as niche minus. I really don't.
Niche minus is fair. I think the level 1 bomb is fine, but I don't think you need to make the level 1 bomb better. There's too much opportunity cost lost there.
But your level 1 bombs can be 7k power.
They could be 9k if you have 3.
Well,
It could
but
be
you're
11.
you're,
It could be
you're
11.
trifling the bomb, obviously. So
No, I see. That's what you're supposed to do. So what you need to do is you need to have 4 of this and 1 of the ones in the front middle row.
oh, and then you okay.
And then when you swing, you mill 4, mill
Yes.
4 climaxes because you're a baller, and then you trigger a something, and then your 11k bomb has just dealt 4 clean to them, and that's just
Wait. You can't mill 4 clean, because if you mill a climax, you put a card on top of their library. You could put the same climax back.
You what? No. You mill 4 climaxes, and then you put 4 clean damage.
Read it again. You have to resolve the effects individually.
yeah. So you just
Yeah. What's your point?
So
We
you-
mill 4 climaxes.
You mill 1, and then you put a card
Yeah.
on top of their library, and then you mill the next one.
yeah. You're saying you mill 4 climaxes.
No, you put the top card of your library in the waiting room, and then you put a card on their deck.
Oh, what the hell? I mean, if you mill 4 climaxes, I think you're dead.
But they're gonna be dead. Don't you understand?
Yeah, they just took 4. What a great attack.
So much better than the 12 you're about to take.
Let's move on before I actually say something that makes me think stupid things. Muna
Too
hits at
late.
EY. Yeah, too late, definitely too late. It's a 002k weapon trait, a relevant trait. When this is placed from stage to waiting room, rather, you may pay the cost of 2. If you do, salvage a weapon trait in your waiting room and add it to your hand. I don't believe you can take this same card. Actually, can you?
Yes, you can. Because you
You
don't.
can't do.
Because
No,
Weiss.
you would be able to. You would be able to because it's already happened. The trigger's on the stack, and then you pay cost, and you can put this back in.
Because Weiss
You're
has
right.
targets selected as part of resolution.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing I can say about this card. I think it kind of sucks.
It's not good.
Straight up a bad card.
Yeah.
No reason to play it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
do anything. And weapon isn't like a good deck, so
Well, it is a deck in Persona.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying it's not a good one.
It's also not a deck you want to pay 2 in to get a card back.
All right.
And in suits, it's a 105k. When this attacks, if you have 2 Marvel Phantom Thieves, this gains 2k for the turn.
This one has a swimsuit
uh,
in it.
I like how they didn't put flavor text on this card, so you could see her chest.
Yeah. Right.
And they even made the effect like super short. I mean, they could have just made this vanilla, actually.
This is a perfectly serviceable 107k that will die on the swing back. I see no reason to run this in any deck but the Anne Waifu deck, niche.
In which case,
Yeah.
like, you're definitely running this in the Waifu deck, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
It's in a swimsuit.
Vanilla counter. Vanilla 2-1 counter.
alright, so no 2-1 counter, no reason to play this when there's a free fresh counter in blue. The extra 500 might be relevant in some really weird scenarios.
Playable
I don't
minus.
think it's. I don't know if it's even playable minus.
Yeah. Minus. I think
Play-
it's niche.
I think it's playable minus.
It might be bad.
I mean, if you want to give it bad, you're free to give it bad. But I'm giving playable minus.
I give it niche.
Oh my god, no, stop that.
Alright. There we go. Playable minus, bad niche.
The
Next.
cat waifu deck.
Alright, speaking of the cat waifu deck, for the sake of his ally, for the sake of allies rather, Morgana, I don't know if it's a he or a she. When this So it's
She,
a two
right?
one. I don't know. Morgana is like its persona is Zorro, and Zorro is most certainly not female. But then again, King Arthur was most certainly not female. So
But
I
Personas have
mean,
been a little bit
Hey, her
better
name's
about.
Arturia Pendragon, okay?
Fuck
Japan
you.
Get it
Japan
right.
Fate is a walking meme at this point.
Get it right.
Fuck you.
217k. When this is placed from hand to stage against X power, where X is 1,000 times the number of your Phantom Thieves, which is actually pretty big. When the only place I belong is placed your Climax Zone, that
Which
card is
climax?
Stock Soul.
Okay.
So there are 2 Stock Souls, 2 gates.
I was like about to
Um,
flip something if it was a split soul.
when when it's in the front, you may salvage 3 characters, but wait, there's more, and then discard 3 cards.
Honestly, if it was salvage 3, ditch 2, this would be great. But it's salvage 3, ditch 3, and that is unfortunate.
I don't hate this card actually. I think it's perfectly reasonable. It's probably going to kill something, and it does fix your hand in the best possible way. Like
I mean, you
your hand
literally
is
get a
now,
new hand.
your hand is perfect now. Like you
Yeah.
just took 3 cards, ditched 3 worse cards.
Your hand is perfect if you just need
It's also costless. I think,
characters.
it's costless.
It's
so-
costless and doesn't need the reverse.
Yeah.
It's costing that it's a 2/1 character, and it's probably not going
Yeah,
to
but
turn. I think this is just a straight niche card. You don't run this in the normal deck. It takes up climax space. It is, in the worst case, just a costed beater, which does very little. And the climax effects is the only reason you'd run it. And if you're not running the climax, obviously don't run this.
Yeah.
mhm.
All right. Event. Advance notice.
All right. All right. The red advance notice, which I think is actually not bad. It's got the whole your opponent puts a card from hand into memory thing, and then they draw a card. Or they may draw a card. They draw up to 1 card. Then you choose one level or one or lower character in your opponent's front row and kill it. Then choose one of your characters, which gains the ability, when the battle opponent of this is reversed, you may salvage a character.
Mm.
It's actually not bad.
I mean, you kill one. It's a +1 for 1 if you can reverse.
If you can reverse, it is a +1 for 1, which I think is very serviceable.
You're running level 1 bombs.
Your
Yes.
opponent does get to do their whole rummage with their hand thing, but I think this is actually a pretty decent event. You are running bombs, you are running ways to buff your characters.
A pay 1 for
And-
+2 seems pretty reasonable to me.
It's not a +2, it's a
+1.
It's +1 because you play the event.
Oh, sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't.
like it's-
I don't count. I don't know. It's
not-
a two. It's a 2 for.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a
the
2 for.
event
1. It's a
is
2 for 1.
going-
It's a 2 for 1.
It's a 2 for 1 if you get the reverse off, which is not difficult if you get to A, kill a card, which can often be relevant, like you get to kill, say, something to make an Ellie clone smaller or whatever.
Or you're just running the level 1 climax combo in red, and that shit's fucking huge.
Yeah, that does get pretty big. And then you can use this with your bomb. Like I think it's fine. I'm going to give this a playable rating. I think that if you're in a non-yellow red deck, this is the notice of choice.
I think this notice is fine. 2 for 1s are
Yeah.
generally pretty reasonable. Yellow one's also a 2 for 1, and that's part of the reason why it's so silly. Notably, that one's costless, which is even more insane. But this one's
Yellow one's not a 2 for 1 because you just bounce.
it's not a true 2 for 1, but
You're
bouncing
getting
is such a
tempo.
tempo swing
It's-
that it might as well
It's
be a 2 for 1.
but it's a 1 for 1, but you get +1 soul
I mean,
because you bounce soul.
In the context of Weiss, like bouncing a character might as well be a plus.
I don't think so. It's a
No.
strong, but there are games where bouncing a character is a true plus, and I don't think Weiss is one of them.
Well,
Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Mementos.
last
Me
red
then.
card.
Yes, another 1/1 red event. They're really trying to push this whole delayed event thing. I don't think it's very good. So it's a 1/1 event. You send it to memory. That's all it does right there and then. And then, when damage when damage taken by you is not cancelled, if this is in your memory and you took 3 or more damage, you may pay the cost of putting this from memory to waiting room. If you do, salvage 2 characters and then add a card in your hand to stop.
So if it happens,
This is
it was a
super
free
delayed.
+1.
Yes, it is a super delayed +1 where you get to put the worst card in your bin or hand, depending, into stock.
Yeah.
I do
Too
not
bad.
do
It's
not
not
think this is.
reliable.
It is a card that relies on you taking 3 or more damage.
I think it's
That
bad, but
It's a
that is
meme.
not guaranteed to ever happen.
it's
I
not.
know it does happen a lot, but oftentimes it happens before you get to play this card. Oftentimes it never happens after you play this card. I don't think this card is playable. It's a straight bad card
I
for
think
me.
it's
It
Yeah.
doesn't
I
even,
think it's
like it
bad.
doesn't reduce damage. It doesn't help same turn compression like
Oh,
the
actually, it's from hand. It's not even a +1. It's literally just a hand fix.
yeah. Uh Dalsenio was the one that had the no, it is a +1 because
No, because you
you
played the
salvage.
event, you salvaged
Oh God.
2, and you put 1 card from hand to stock.
Oh my God, that's not even a plus. That's terrible. It's a zero cost do nothing.
It's a zero
Uh,
cost hand
Cost
fix.
fix
You
your
didn't
hand.
even plus on stock because it costs stock to play.
Yeah, wow. Okay, this is even worse than I thought it was. So at least the Dalsenio ones like pulled cards out of your deck to increase the chance of you canceling, or check the top X cards, which digs you further to a probable climax. This one does nothing like that. And because of that, it's just a straight bad card.
Don't do it.
Don't play it. And that
Um,
brings us to the end of red. We'll come back with blue,
eventually.
hopefully, eventually.